Good evening and welcome to Amateur Hour. It's been a while since I've made this, and I'm coming back for good reason. We're making a pumpkin pie and the pie crust today, and it's October now. It's gonna be November soon. Pumpkin pie is kind of a staple, so I want to try to figure it out. I'm not gonna do it later, but I want to know it now, so we're gonna try that out. To start off, for the whole thing, we're going to need the pie crust, which is simple ingredients. I'm not 100% sure about the process, but it's going to be flour, salt, sugar, butter, and water. Sugar, I guess, is optional, but we're going to try it, see how it goes. I'm also going to take this off because I wore it just so it looks like I'm wearing this hat for a reason. So the pie crust is going to be about 2.5 cups of flour, tablespoon of salt, teaspoon of salt, tablespoon of sugar, a cup of chopped up and cubed unsalted butter. I have salted butter, so that's what we're going to use. And then you just splash some water on it until it looks good. I don't have a food processor to blend flour and these other powders, so I'm going to use a blender. We'll see how that turns out. Okay, so I got my blender out, and in the process of that, I realized I didn't actually have enough butter. So I had to run to the store and pick some up. I picked up salted butter because that was my plan in the first place, so we're keeping that. I don't even remember what I was doing though, so I grabbed the blender because we're going to combine the flour, salt, and sugar first, and then I think I'm going to throw some of the butter in there, and then I'm going to add more flour, something like that. So this should be flour. I don't think it's a bunch of powdered sugar. That's flour. And I'm putting 1.5 cups in there. Well, cool. So that's 1.5 of that. I need a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of sugar. I'm gonna eyeball the salt. Teaspoon. Oh, that's a lot. Cool. Easy. Done. For now. Okay. I don't recommend using this. I'm gonna do this instead. Combined. I'm not sure what they expect you to do without a food processor, to be honest. But now I'm chopping up butter. This is my butter cutting board right now. Right now. I hate oily things on my hands. I just don't like the feeling of it. Lotion? Nah, don't even. So we got our cubed butter. And I still need to add a full cup of flour to this whole thing to make it dough. So I'm not sure how I'm going to be mixing it. I guess I can mix it in here. Right? Let's try it. I don't call this amateur hour for nothing. Start with a little bit of butter. What am I doing with this? I don't know. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just kind of churning it, squeezing it, and combining it best as I can. You're supposed to have the flour essentially completely coated by the butter. I'm still not sure why they want you to use cold butter for this as opposed to warmish butter or room temperature butter, but yeah, I'm just some guy. What do I know? And then I'm supposed to start adding the water, but it's gonna take a second. I'll get back to you. Okay. I'm opting to use the mixer. Now, essentially what I was doing was just grabbing it, squeezing it, and trying to mix that in, but I don't feel like that was doing very much. So I'm using this to hopefully speed up the process and do it properly and evenly. But I'm gonna have to mess with it and see just how much I can deal with. 'Cause I don't really get what I'm supposed to be coming out with. I've never done this before. That's the whole point. This isn't in the recipe, but I wanted to use a splash of vanilla extract. I think that might make it taste pretty good. I'm just gonna use like half this cap, you know? Oh, or 75% of the cap. I know it's like a pumpkin pie, but I feel like there's something there, you know? Okay, it actually looks kind of neat. Though to me, this seems pretty excessive for one pie crust. Still got some like flaked bits in here, but it's starting to be like doughy finally. Yeah, like it's coming out pretty crumbly, but somewhat together. So this is when I start putting water in, starting with 4 tablespoons. It says ice cold water, so I'm just gonna, oh, you know, I have cold water. I'm gonna use this. Do this a tablespoon I guess 4 tablespoons at a time. And I guess I'll just work it actually this time. Ooh, this is actually starting to you can't see it at all, but like you see that big ball there? It's like real dough. I hope I did this right by adding that entire cup that I didn't have in yet. Maybe. I hope so. I'm gonna slap this on the parchment paper for me to work it a little bit better with some flour. Right, that's how you do it. That's a thing. This is huge. If it stays crumbly, more water. It looks really nice, but I don't know if it looks correct. But I've got a rolling pin, so how bad could it be? Oh, it came off. Something tells me I did something wrong here. I'm gonna oh, look at those layers. Wow.
The layers on that guy.
I just need to sit in one of these, I think. And I don't think I put this in the oven first, right? I mean, it's way too thick. I'm not doing anything yet. So after flattening it and like taking off all the excess pieces and trying to make it more and more round, this is pretty much what I've come up with. I think it looks neat, but I don't know how it's gonna taste. It doesn't smell like it's gonna taste particularly good, so we'll see. But I'm gonna put this off to the side for now, and then we're gonna start doing the real business. I just had an idea. So with our leftover dough, I'm gonna add some yeast that I have just kind of sitting around, and see if I can turn this into a loaf of bread. I'm very curious what's gonna happen. I'm gonna put the yeast in there, mix it a little bit, and then with some water and whatnot, I'll stick it in a warm area to proof, which is allows it to kind of grow and get all bread-like before you bake it. So have I done that? I don't think I've done that before. I've done it for pizza dough. I haven't done it for anything else. Olive oil to work it a little bit more. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more water onto it. So it looks like I only have yeast for making alcohol, which I've had for a long ass time. Still sounds okay, so I'm gonna use this. We're gonna find out what happens. I don't know how much to use. I think you're supposed to put it in warm water to like wake it up, but I don't have patience for that. Generally, you would use a glass bowl, but I don't have one of those. So I'm gonna use this. A little bit of olive oil. And I'm gonna put it somewhere warm. like up here. Alright, after arduously cleaning up the mess I've made, I find it's time to move to the main course. Figuratively, because this is dessert, damn it. We're gonna be making the pie part now. Unlike the filling, this is the filling. Unlike the crust, this has a recipe on the can. So I'm gonna follow this for the most part, because I don't know how to make this stuff. But it's gonna take like an hour of baking. So we're gonna start off with preheating the oven at 425. Then we're gonna mix up the seasonings with the condensed milk. So mostly you just need your pie filling, your condensed milk. You'll probably need like some cinnamon, sugar, just a little bit of ginger, nutmeg. That seems good, right? And of course, pumpkin spice. So we'll just do that to tie it all together, which I'm pretty sure consists of all this stuff. Yeah, and some more things. Get your can opener, pop this milk open. That is very, very condensed. You guys like Thai tea? Putting this stuff inside your Thai tea, so freaking good, dude. To the side for now. What am I doing here? Mix these with the milk. I'm gonna put this in the mixer. Oh, I'm gonna put the mixer back together. So just glop this whole thing in there. I think it's like 14 ounces. Whoa. I didn't think it'd be so goopy. Make sure your condensed milk is sweetened. You throw that in there. How much of this spices does it want? Teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg and ginger, some salt. So what is this, nutmeg? Half a teaspoon, what does that look like? A cinnamon. Ginger. Definitely don't want to go too hard on that. Some pumpkin spice for good measure. Oh, that's a lot. Alright. I guess I'm supposed to put this in here. At the lowest setting, and then I need to do the salt. Half a teaspoon, and then 2 eggs. Wait, beaten. I guess I'll beat 2 eggs real quick. Simple way to do this is just take a fork and swirl it. You're essentially just stirring it. That's all it is. Until you think it's well, and then pop it in there, I guess. Oh, puree goes first. Whew, that is a smell. So this says mix the spices with the sugar, but it doesn't tell me anything about how much sugar I'm supposed to be putting in there. So I'm just gonna pour some in and see what happens. Then I'm gonna add these eggs. And you don't want this to foam, it looks like. You just want it to mix nicely. So do it on the lowest setting. It really just smells like tomato sauce. Like canned tomato, roasted maybe? It's kind of gross smelling, actually. Oh. Read the directions before you start doing things. If you're only using a 12-ounce can of condensed milk, I have a 14-ounce. They want you to add sugar, so I just added sugar for nothing. And then throw it in for 425 for 15 minutes. The oven's still preheating, but it should be done in a second. Once that happens, I'll pour it into the pie crust, throw it in for 15 minutes, and then lower it to 350 for another 30 to 40 minutes. Wow. Okay. All right. The oven just turned its heat off, but it's yet to tell me that it's done heating up, so it should start in a second. I'm just gonna put this on the middle rack, but that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna wait till the beep starts, and then I'll drop this guy, pour it in, throw it in, and see you guys in like an hour. Actually, you know what? While that's baking, we'll make some whipped cream. How about that? I just spilled a puddle of it by holding it slightly over, and it just went straight out. I also spilled a little bit on the door, but I hope that's not going to be a problem. Only sense will tell us. I gotta clean this shit up. Okay, time to make whipping cream. I'm gonna wash and clean up all this shit around me, and then we'll get that started. We've got about little over 20 minutes left, and I figured it's time we make whipped cream. This wasn't originally part of my plan. Actually, most of this wasn't part of my plan, so we're going with the flow. For this whipped cream recipe I'm doing, you just do a full thing of whipping cream. This is a pint or 16 ounces in the US. Do a full teaspoon of vanilla extract and 4 tablespoons of confectioner's sugar, also known as powdered sugar. Pretty sure it's the same thing. You could also use granulated sugar, but I think powdered sugar is supposed to be better for it somehow. I'm gonna do this on top of the oven. I don't know if that's gonna mess it up because of the heat that's exuding from here. I'm gonna really hope not. So I'm pretty sure all we have to do is pour it all in and then wait till it starts to get whipped. Like, that's it. It should take like 5 minutes, maybe. So, yeah, I'm just gonna start, right? Well, that is thick. It's like eggnog. Stay tuned for another amateur hour. Maybe in November? I'm gonna make some eggnog. I'm telling you now, I'm gonna remember it too. So let's throw in some extract de vanille. Don't think that's actually any language. That's a lot. And 4 tablespoons of this sugar here. Alright, and be careful. You're gonna make a mess with all this because it just will not explode. Okay, that's it. Turn that thing on, whip it. You can also whip it with your hands with some other things if you really want to go about that. I don't know why you would. It sounds like a pain, but if you don't have one of these, that's obviously going to be the way to go. It is possible. It is painful, I think. Just the thought of having to do this constantly for like 5 minutes straight seems to suck. Alright, we do this on medium-high. I'm on 3 out of a possible 6. I think that'll do it. It's on 4. And the pie's kind of risen a little bit. The part that it spilled out over looks burnt. But the rest of it looks good. And it's kind of like fluffed a bit upwards. I really hope I didn't overfill it. I have no idea how much I was supposed to fill it. But it was supposed to be for a 9-inch pan, and this is like an 8 3/4 pan. So like I'm hoping that's all I need to do. Okay, so it hasn't actually been doing much, so I'm gonna turn it up higher. I'm taking it off this though because this heat, I think it might actually keep it from settling nicely. So I also think go higher, go like 5. It's finally working. It's starting to get really thick, so it'll pull up. Wow. Now it's like butter. It really, that's a thin line. I'm gonna try to scoop this into here very carefully. I don't want to lose any. Ooh, that is fluffy. Ooh. It's also kind of dense at the same time. I just made whipped memory foam. Don't worry, I'm gonna taste this. This is not just gonna sit in thing till the end. I gotta know. Oh, you know what? I'm sure. I'm not 100% sure. But you could probably find some kind of padded out sugar alternative like aspartame or sucralose. I recommend not aspartame because that's gonna taste like shit. But if you find a sucralose alternative might work instead of the powdered sugar, you might have to get like a specific baking kind. But hell, it's worth a try if you're avoiding the sugar. so hard to stand frame. There's a lot of fat in heavy whipping cream. That's what makes it heavy. And it just makes your hands greasy. And I didn't expect it. That is really gross. It does sit. Let's see how this tastes. That's amazing. That's incredible. Oh man. I could eat so much of this. Oh, that's just pure whipped cream. It's perfect. It's the perfect consistency. It's fluffy, airy. So good. And we've got 5 minutes left until the pie is hopefully cooked. I went for the short time, and I'm going to use my meat thermometer that I keep very clean to see the inside of the temperature, make sure it's cooked fully. Because I'm a little worried I overfilled it, and I want to make sure that it's the right amount. So it needs to be, I think, 160 Fahrenheit. I don't know what the Celsius is that for the internal temperature. So I'll see you guys when I take it out. It's time. All right. Let's check the internal temperature. High enough. It might not be cooked enough. I'm gonna throw it in for another like 5 minutes. But before that, let me bring it over for you. Look at that. Yeah, so that you can see where, ooh. Yeah, it's pretty jelly-y. I think it needs to cook a little bit longer to make it more set. But it's looking pretty good. And it's smelling pretty good. Oh. Alright, so we got about like 30 seconds left. I'm gonna take this guy out. Turn off the oven because I can't imagine it's gonna need to cook any longer than this. And we'll leave it, let it sit, and I'll come back to you with it ready to taste. So hopefully that's not gonna take too long. All right, look at what we've made together. This is my first pumpkin pie, and maybe you're cooking with me and it's your first pumpkin pie. But we've also got the whipped cream. We made a pie crust. This has been pretty cool, if you ask me. And to be a first time for all this, to see how easy it is, and we'll see how good it tastes, even with my own little mistake on that crust there. And we'll make sure that we've got a good pie. And if not, then don't listen to me. This is amateur hour. It's amateur hour for a reason. But I'll see you guys in a little bit, and we'll see just how good our pie tastes. Apparently you're supposed to let the pie sit for like at least 2 hours before you cut into it, and you're supposed to also let the pastry that you use for the pie crust to sit out, or I think you put it in the fridge for an hour or so before you work it into the pie. I didn't know that, so we're gonna see if it works out okay. But I also wanted to say thank you guys for watching thus far, and I want to see what you guys do with your own pies. If you follow what I did along with me, awesome. I want to hear about it. Tell me in the comments, tweet me, X me, or hit me up on Threads, whatever, Discord. Join that, and I'm gonna ask the Discord to also participate and see what they do, because this is. We're all learning together. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it the remaining hour and a half I think I have before the pie's ready, and then hopefully we'll see just how good it really is. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours, I think, and the big reveal is going to happen. Now. I don't know what's up, but it looks really greasy. Yeah, you can see it shiny and stuff. I don't know if that's supposed to be there. It might just be water. I did have it covered with what do you call it? A foil. So I wanted to make it, I don't know. I just didn't want things to get on top of it while it sat there. I don't know what it is. It looks like it might be oil. I don't know where all this oil came from. I didn't. The butter? Butter?
I didn't put butter in this. Condensed milk, maybe? Maybe the fat from that? I mean, that's pretty much the only useful part in baking with milk. So we're gonna cut it, we're gonna serve it, and we're gonna see if our whipped cream is any good. Yeah. I just realized I don't have a cake knife or anything, so I'm gonna use this thing, which might actually, no, it's not a cake knife. It's a big knife. But I'm gonna use this to chop into it, and then I'll use this spatula to serve it out. Let's see how well it cuts. My cutting skills are far from perfect. Cut this into eighths, as any self-respecting pie man would. I'm not particularly one of them, but I'm sure it's something like that. So the crust isn't uniform at all. It goes, ooh, pretty clean knife though. It goes like in and out and it's all crumbly and stuff. It doesn't look particularly good. Let's see if I can capture this moment. Ooh, look at that. Looks like pie. Ooh, dough looks undercooked. You'd think after it's sitting for that long, at least the heat would have resonated and or whatever and cooked it, but whatever. Here's our whipping cream. Still pretty fluffy. I'm gonna just don't run with these. Okay. Let's see if I can capture this nicely. Ba, 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 ba. On top of the Clorox wipes. You know it's good. And just ba-da-ba-ba. Look at that. That is serious. I'm mostly excited about the whipping cream. Like, this stuff is phenomenal. Alright, let's bite it. I don't recommend eating raw dough. It's probably not the best thing. But we'll see how the whole thing tastes. It's good. It's really good. Let's get some of that whip in there. This is delicious. Oh my god. I'm amazed. I know the raw-ish looking dough, I don't know how well you can see it, but it has that like darker color. I think usually means that it's not very well done. But the whole thing tastes so good. Like, I can't care anymore about how raw it is. That's amazing. That's absolutely fantastic. I can't believe it. I mean, I can kind of believe it. I actually really want to taste the crust by itself. That way I can... Oh wait, maybe that's not the dough. Maybe that's just the pumpkin. Dough does look still kind of soft though. So maybe it's both. But I want to taste the dough by itself. See if any of the things I did to it paid off. You can immediately tell that I used salted butter. Because that's salty. I also used probably too much salt in the overall blend, so that probably didn't help. But when paired with the sweetness of this of the pie itself and the whipped cream, it's fantastic. I'm amazed. I really hope you guys do this. Let me know. I want to hear how your guys turn out, because this was fantastic. And if it does turn out well, like the video. You owe me that much. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Amateur Hour. But right now, I feel like a pro. Boy, let's sit down here. Yeah, first time baking a pie crust. First time baking a pumpkin pie from just about scratch. And first time making whipped cream, which altogether sounds kind of daunting, but to piece it apart, it's as easy as pie. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Like the video if you want to see more Amateur Hour in general, or Amateur Hour in the kitchen. Let me know if you want to see more cooking things in the comments. I wanna know about it. Follow me on various socials you'll see in the description. You can also join the Discord. I'm gonna try to do some things in there to, I don't know, keep people engaged and interact. And I think there's gonna be some pretty cool people hanging out in there. So hopefully I'll see you guys there as well, and I'll catch you in the next one.